green with vision. For vision, more fine lace, you can still bring your stuff. Yeah. This big giant's talking New York with a skyline bleeds. Basketball dreams in the football seas. Got a mic in the hand and a vision that feeds. In the fantasy realms where the ghost dog leads. He's a shadow on the court and a phantom on the field. Timberland stomping, truth never concealed. Got my podcast lit, each story revealed. Talk Ryan legends and hoops that appeal.
It's GhostDog's Big Talk, where I talk big like a giant. Pay attention as I break down the science, crunching football, mathematics like an ancient Mayan. Yes, listen, man, you see the thumbnail, you see the title, the nonsense. Days before kickoff, just coming. And, and not for nothing, like, let's be for real here, Giants fans. This is nothing new to us at all, especially since Mr. Unstable Dable's been in the building, okay? Absolutely dysfunctional. However, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe, especially if you feel that vibe. On the way to 1,000 subscribers. Help me help you get better content. You feel me? Simple mathematics. Now that that's out of the way, man, straight into the meat and potatoes of the situation here. Oh, man. On these X spaces over here, again, can't help but just, Lord have mercy. Came across this tweet from the Big Blue Film Room, quotation marks. More pressure is on Shane Bowen than Mike Kafka, per Jordan Renan. Adding, he needs to do a better job, citing how John Mara was unhappy with the team's defensive performance in 2024. Now, in other news, water is wet and the sky is blue. No shit, Sherlock, okay? No, of course, it absolutely needs to do a better job. And I get that from Shane Bowen's part, but he's going to say what he has to say. Because for me, this goes back to Brian Daboll in a way. Because, you see, I have a thought, rather, right? That man is just running his own three-ring circus in there, okay? And Shane Bowen has been swept up in that circus because he was supposed to come here specifically to help out our run defense, right? Which was having issues the year prior, okay? That man hasn't really done anything for us in terms of like scheming these players in the position where they can prevent the run. You know what I'm saying? I originally thought he had the talent on the team to make it more consistent, but outside of Dexter Lawrence, ain't nobody getting stopped on nothing when it comes to the opposing teams' rushing offenses, especially within our own division. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy how now all of a sudden, 2 years into this defense, it's like, more pressure and it needs to do a better job. I think Brian Daboll needs to do a better job because not for nothing, I recall last year, okay, where there's some defensive struggles, absolutely, but make no mistake about it, man, when there was a lot of games out there where the defense there was a lot of games last year where the defense literally had the other opposing team on the ropes, and all the offense had to do was not either turn over the ball or, constantly going out, four and out. You know what I'm saying? Again, 15 points per average per game ain't gonna cut it in this league at all. And I gotta leave that at Brian Daboll's feet, man. You know what I'm saying? So to put it all on Shane Bowen, I just feel like it's another scapegoat situation, right? Oh, your defense can't stop the opposing offense from scoring points. How about you worry about scoring points with our offense? How about you worry about that? Because you're supposed to be this offensive guru, right? This quarterback whisperer. So to me, it's like, no shit, there's more pressure on him. At the same time, it's like, is he really catching a fair shake? And personally, me, I don't think so. I just don't. And it's not right. Look, it's going to be an interesting 2 years, these next couple seasons coming up. Because I'm sold on Dart. And I want nothing but success from that young man. However, I feel like Dabo is, he's a problem. But we're going to get into that. We have to address his defense. And now, right, not only is there more pressure on Shane Bowen, but all of a sudden, I'm reading this article on the Giants Wire, right? All of a sudden, Deonte Banks needs to, quote unquote, grow up. So, article starts off, New York Giants quarterback Deonte Banks. The team's first-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft fell off as a sophomore and has spent the summer battling Cordell Flott for the CB2 role. On their unofficial depth chart released on Tuesday, the Giants listed Banks and Flott as co-starters alongside Paulson Adebo with just days remaining until their Week 1 clash with the Washington Commanders. No matter how well Flott plays, the Giants are still relying on Banks to provide a return on their investment and live up to his potential. He showed up this offseason seemingly more committed to his craft, but several of his issues locating the ball in the air persisted throughout the preseason. At least one Giant staffer, speaking to the Washington Post on the condition of anonymity, always an anonymous source, always, right? Questioned Banks' maturity and his ability to accept responsibility. Does the player even feel responsible for people losing their jobs? A lot of people got burned by him. The kid really needs to grow up, the staffer told Jason LaCanfora. The same staffer also cautioned that the Giants don't have a true number one at quarterback and must be prepared to play all three quarterbacks this season. We have a mix and match and have game plans for different guys at different positions of the season, the staffer said. You can't just throw your hands up when you don't have a true number one quarterback. You have to be consistently developing the second or third quarterback now more than ever. So we're going to get into that because that's funny, right? However, we're going to address this Deonte Banks situation. So to kind of like play devil's advocate here, right? It might be true that Deonte Banks has some responsibility issues, some pouting on the field. Things aren't going my way, so I'm just going to act out on it on the field type of antics. I've seen little glimpses of that, okay? And it might very well be a situation where the kid is so talented, as Coach Ed Gladney, shout outs to him, right? It just might be a situation where the kid is just so good that he's uncoachable, okay? That the talent level is so up there, right? That in his mind, he doesn't need more coaching. So I'm just going to do what I do, what I've been doing to get here. It's worked for me thus far, right? That may very well be a part of it. However, I beg to differ it's believable to a point. However, with the evidence that we've have before us in terms of Brian Daboll sabotaging a Wink Martindale, who, by the way, okay, Banks was specifically drafted for his scheming and defensive style, right? And now, like, it's kind of like a situation here where now it's like the remnants of the old Wink regime. And I think this is a part of that. I think Brian Daboll slowly but surely wants to phase out anything that has to do with Wink Martindale. And I just think Deonte Banks is a part of that. I just do not think that this kid is so up his own ass that he just can't be developed or can't learn or just refuses to take a responsibility. It's just, I don't know, man. I just don't think that his emotions run that high where he's just not going to listen to the hierarchy of football. Especially with a franchise like the Giants. You know, say what you may in terms of recent, shall we say, success. Make no mistake about it. The New York Football Giants are a cornerstone franchise in this league. Okay? So, I don't know, man. It's just the whole situation is funny, stinks to high heaven to me. And I just pray and hope that it works out for Banks because I see the potential in that kid. Physical, especially at the line, sticky. I love physical corners, man. I just do. It's just, he's great up at, he's great with the hips. He's great with the movement, keeping up with the receivers. It's just sometimes at the moment when it's time to make a play, it's weird, man. You know, I don't know what it is. But as I said, and I'm going to continue to say it until he's out the building, hopefully it works out. Because it sucks when you see first rounders not work out. Evan Neal, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Deonte Banks, right? However, segueing into more conspiratorial stuff, now that we've seen here on the Giants Wire article, where they don't even have a quote-unquote true number one. Excuse me? And then they moved Jackson Dart up a spot in the depth chart to the backup quarterback behind Russell, who I thought was our number one quarterback for at the very least a significant amount of time for this season. It's weird, man. It's so weird. And again, I am sold on this kid. It's a double-edged situation now, man, because for as much as I don't like unstable Dable, he's, as of right now, has the keys to our new ride, bro. He just does. He's the mechanic. He's the one who's like putting it together for us. And it sucks. Because I don't trust him, bro. Too much bad has happened for a head coach to have escaped all of the negativity for this long. Going on to year 4. Now he's bought himself at least another 2 years with Jackson Dart. So I don't want Jackson Dart to be Jackson Dart. I want it to be New Jack City Dart. And it's going to take, unfortunately, Brian Dable to do that because he's got his prints all over him. It's an unfortunate reality, man, and it sucks. It sucks because, you know, for as much as I think we're out of the hole, or we're out of the woods, it's just Brian Dable being here, it's like a little, like a thorn in your side, like a little, like, oh, man, it's just something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way I can put it, honestly. And again, it's whack. It's just so whack as a Giants fan, as a football fan, to see that much manipulation and, like, you know, backstabbing type of behavior going on. But we're going to see. Eventually, all this stuff is going to come to light. Hopefully. You know? And if not, then c'est la vie. He can move on and pound sand somewhere else after things don't work out. However, on the other side of me, the fan side is like, nah, man, I do want things to work out, because if it works out, that means New Jack City is working out. So, again, a little bit of a rant here, man. Had to kind of get my thoughts out there, man, because I think all this stuff is nonsense. Just more evidence to add to the conspiratorial pile. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. That being the case, stay tuned for future content. I will be putting out a preview to the first game, going over a couple key things, noticeable matches, key situations, if you will, for the first game against the Commanders. You know, just letting y'all Commanders fans know, ain't nobody scared over here, B, at all. You know what I'm saying? That being the case, if you appreciate the way I spit on this mic, make sure you smash that like. Leave a comment. Hell, man, let's have a back and forth. Some engagement is always good. I got no problems. You know what I'm saying? With that being the case, I'm going to give y'all a big blue salute and a peace.
From the shadows of MetLife to Mike's last track, GhostDog repping Big Blue, never looking back. Podcast sales, that's deep in the fog. Gridiron echoes follow the phantom dog. Jersey glows under moonless skies. Fades with the beat, but never truly dies. He barks once loud, a New York anthem blast. That vanishes like stories from podcast past.
This is a GhostDog mixtape original.